Got the parts up my ass.
I'll start it again, man. I want to see where that light is. That light on? Yeah, it's on.
No.
Now it is.
Now it is.
Okay, I don't know why they pushed the button.
Because you wanted to shut the video off because it was
Well,
getting too long.
I know.
Okay, so we went over to my ass and pulled out some forks.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Now these start at standard here, and they work their way up to 30 on this side.
Oh, wow.
Now we have plus and negatives over here, and they go down like that.
I didn't know Dixie had.
So you go standard, 5, 10, 20, and 30. That's all of the ones they make. Now the problem is all manufacturers have variable tolerances, so some are in between those sizes. So you can get a variable clearances in there. Okay, we don't know what you have right now, so we're going to guess that we're going to try a standard. Now we can go with a low mileage EU standard. Now this is a brand new one pretty much. Brass one just like you got, so you probably like that one. So we'll give this a try. Now they're usually marked right here on what they are.
Understand?
Not too often on this side, or they mark them right in here. That's the most common right there. Okay, so we're going to go with the standard. And if you look at them, there should be a difference. You have to kind of get down at the low angle.
Oh, okay.
Just to bend down.
Where am I looking at? I'm trying to see any.
Right here.
Yeah, one's a little lower.
Which one?
The one on the right,
The
close to you.
You mean the one that's not plus?
Yeah, yeah. It's down a little bit, huh?
Just
at 20,000, yeah.
About 20,000. Okay. Imagine how that works. Okay, now this gives you a stock brass one, which I know you're going to like because you like stock shit.
Well, whatever you say.
I use the steel ones in my bike. Okay.
Looks like steel would wear better, huh?
Yeah, they all wear, it doesn't matter.
Well, brass is soft.
Yeah, but it's just in the middle, so sometimes it wears better, sometimes not. Okay, so now what do we got? So there's your clearance right there. And your clearance is here. So does it look equal to you?
Split the difference, yeah.
Does it look pretty equal?
Yeah.
Dead nuts or not quite?
It's pretty close. From the air gap, you're making about the same.
Okay, so standard works good on this one for you.
Uh-huh.
Now in the racing conditions, we run a little bit closer to high gear because we care more about high than third. Because I do high speed racing. I don't give a shit about lower gears. Now if you're road racing, you're going to want to be more equal. There's also tricks you can do to tighten the pack up so you have less gap total. And my Trinity has all those tricks done to it. Okay, so now you got your shift fork figured out. So what was this one?
20 over.
We're not using it, right?
No.
Okay, good. So now we got that straightened out.
You want to put it in your stock? I don't need it.
Okay, so now we're going to have now we're ready to put this in. Now we already checked the bearing fit here, so we know there's bearing. We have to check our in play for our thrusting now. And this one we just guessed by putting a washer because we don't know what it is. So we have to poke it in that hole over there and figure it out. Now the other thing we got to do is we got to check out the shift shaft to make sure it's the correct.
You want to grab it?
Correct on that also. Well, I don't know where you got it.
I got it in that green case over there with the cylinders and all.
Okay, well go get me that. So now these washers here are all made in different thicknesses. You start out with your really thin one right here, which is probably a 20 or a 30. And they go all the way up to these big fat ones over here, which is probably about 90 or something like that. 75, 90. So that's your counter shaft kit. This is your main shaft kit. And same deal, you start with real thin ones down here, and you move up to your big fat ones over here, which is about 130 or so. So sometimes you have to put two of these together, but I don't like doing that, and if I do, I tend to weld them together. Because I don't like them having slipping loose. And then the last one we got is the one for the counter shaft on the low gear. And these are the ones that were 65 to 100 in thickness. So these are your 100s right over here. So you got 4 different ones of those. Then you got your various snap rings and other washers here. But so for adjustment purposes, you got your low gear stuff here, your main shaft, and then your counter shaft over here. Ooh, that's a brand new Harley Davidson part there.
Brand new in the bag,
Look
dude.
at that. What year was that made in?
Oh,
Zero.
zero.
Damn, that's almost like obsolete parts now. Jeez, that looks almost
You
like
can
it's
get them
new.
aftermarket.
This looks like it's almost new. I do have aftermarket
Grease that
ones.
thing.
think we should put some grease on this?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Grease it good.
Grease it up.
That's what she said.
Okay, so it goes in there like that.
Grease the ball too?
Nope. We don't care about the ball. Now you notice how that ball has a flat spot on it these
Yeah,
days?
uh-huh.
Okay, that hits up right against here. Over here.
No, okay. It's right there.
The flat spot here, over here. This here?
Oh, that flat spot.
Okay, that will bottom out on this area in here.
Okay.
See a little mark you got right there?
Yeah, coolness.
Okay, this ball right here, that flat spot there, will bottom out down on the rotor.
Right.
Right here.
Yeah.
Now, either one of those two spots, if you hit, it binds things up. So you have to make sure you got clearance between those two. So when this is all assembled, we check for in-play like this. Camera.
Oh, I was just thinking when I
You
did
have to
this.
check in-play like this and make sure you got some in-play.
I never had any issues putting that thing in. It just kind of slid right in
Most of these are pretty loose, but on the other bikes, a lot of them are tight.
there. I
The
slid
right
that
side
thing
shifter.
in.
Okay, now we got all our bearings still sitting there. So we put this like this so gravity will help us.
Yeah.
The washers are stuck on here with grease, so they shouldn't fall out. I'm going to put this all together like this.
It's trying.
Okay, I make sure this is engaged, which
Yeah.
it seemed to be.
Right.
I don't even feel engagement on this one. Engaged. There it is. Yep, there it is right there.
Okay.
Make sure that's
Cappy,
in there.
cappy.
Get this lid out of the way before we bang it. Okay, now you have to bang these on. Now the problem here you're hitting on is the dowel pin. So you have a dowel pin right here
Yep.
and right here. So those are two places you hit on. If you hit over here, you're trying to break the door off.
Right, right.
Over there. So you want to hit on the dowels. So you hit on that dowel and that dowel. That's not even close to going in. It should just fall right in.
I know. Yeah.
Something like that.
Something's on it. Something's on.
Something is not letting us go in there. And everything in here seems to be free. We definitely have something that's not like
Something ain't
this.
going all the way, huh?
I can see the counter shaft.
Yeah.
Not even close to being in. It's just that tight. That's a tight one. Okay, so see the in-play here? Now you don't want to have it wobbling back. You have to hold it straight.
Right.
Come out. So we have a lot of in-play on this. See, most of the time they're pretty loose. The other bikes, the right side shifts are a lot tighter. Okay, you want to make sure this isn't locked up yet. It isn't. Okay, so then we go ahead and take our bolts and start putting these in. Run them in there.
Run through the gears and all like that.
You said you have the lever. Where's your lever?
Let me bring it.
Bring your
You
lever.
got one. I guarantee you got about 20 of them laying right.
You got one laying around here somewhere?
Got one in your pocket right now.
Okay, well, see right now it appears that we are missing some tools we need. Okay, we need a 1/2-inch socket.
Socket.
Slide it out a little bit so I can get to it. Tighten that up. Okay. And just like beating on it, you don't want to tighten this corner first. You're going to try to pull this in. These 3 bolts here are going to pull in easily, but I've got it beat flat, so I don't have to worry about breaking it. So it's tight, that's tight, that's tight. I'm going to do this one last, and this still rotates. And if this is all bound up, don't keep tightening. There we go.
Oh man.
Make sure we still got our in play. We got tons of in play. See, you got probably 80 thou at least in there. Okay, then we go over here. We check our main shaft in play.
Oh yeah, that looks good.
See over here?
That looks good.
Okay, the problem with this is the clutch pushes this tight. Now it takes up a lot of your free play.
Right.
If this stuff is floating, it takes up your in play. So you want to make sure you always push this in like this, then check it over here.
Okay.
See over here, gap?
Well, you got about 20 or 30 thou there?
Yeah, it's got some, so we'll take out 10 or 15. It's always more than you think it is.
Well, it's supposed to be loose like that, isn't it? They all are.
And then you got to check the in play on this one, which you got to use a little screwdriver to do that.
You don't want too much play, huh?
Well, it's too loose, it's too tight.
It seems like they don't have a lot, but you know, with a shaft on there tight, you can move in and out just a
Okay,
little.
now this one here, I use my ground down screwdriver I use for doing my low speed jets. And that fits right inside this hole right here. That allows you to, you caulk it and you can push the shaft in and out. Gravity will help me a little bit.
Okay.
See how it's
Yeah,
holding?
yeah.
This screwdriver is too smooth, so it's not grabbing real good.
Yeah.
Plus it's Andrews. Andrews probably has a smaller hole, or tighter hole in it.
Yeah.
And it's a better finish. Okay, so it appears both of those are pretty loose. Okay, that appears to be good. Now, we need a lever to shift this. It appears that someone left the lever
Yep.
laying over
Cool.
here for this purpose.
Yep.
I don't know how that happened.
That's great, man.
Yeah. Okay, that's second. Oh, you're an SCR bike, isn't it?
Yeah.
You reverse shift.
Oh, that's right. I was thinking that, and I was like, I was just trying to think which way I shifted it.
You're low
You
gauge.
push down, push it up here, and you go down one.
Yeah, but your reverse pattern on
Yeah,
those
yeah,
bikes.
exactly.
Because the linkage is backwards on CR.
Yeah.
So that's second, third,
Okay.
and fourth.
Oh, that's way my, yeah. That's exactly.
So it shifts good. Damn it.
It's not easy with it not turning, huh? To shift it.
That was low. We're neutral now. Okay, so everything turns freely, which is good. So that means this trap door matches this case. It's probably the original one, I bet.
Yeah.
When these things bind up, that's because these doors don't match the case because they're machined for each case. They're not all these doors are the same.
Not all the
They're all
same.
different.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my wrench. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this apart and we'll start playing with shims and set their in play. So we're gonna pull all these out and we get to do this again. And we get to do this a few times until we get closer to what we want.
You got two shims on the counter and the other one, right? Main and counter, you got a shim? Or just main?
There's two different shims on the counter shaft. One's set in low gear, which we already did with the shift fork, and the other one is set in the in play for the whole shaft. So we're going to set the in play. Low gear is already adjusted. Okay, now to get this out of here, I just take my hammer, I hit it right here in the main shaft over here. And
I got it. Okay.
if you're lucky, the bearings will stay in there.
No, they ain't gonna stay in there. They fall right out. They're on top of
See,
everything.
that grease doesn't stay in like the old blue grease does. So the grease didn't work as good as it should. So we got to put all these back in. And pretty much it's a waste of time doing any more two at a time. Because you can't control any more than two at once. Damn it.
Yeah, it's hard to hold them.
Can't do that sometimes.
Slippery.
So you pack more grease in there and you'll have a better chance of staying put.
Yeah.
Keep that direction. If you just jam it in there, you gotta be careful. You still gotta make sure it'll rotate. It rotated there. So we put more grease in here.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah, there's not a lot of in play when that thing's all put together and you're, you know, taking a sprocket off the counter shaft. You can move it just a little. Just, I want to say about maybe 5 or 10
Okay,
pounds.
so now we gotta take our washer off that we got glued on here.
5 or 10 thou in play.
Yeah. Try not to get my tools all full of grease.
Mm.
I don't like my tools being greasy. So this one appears to be about a 70, which is pretty thick.
60's a 16, right?
So we go over here. There's an 82.
90.
90, we're at 85. It's mixed up.
That's bigger still, right?
Should be. That's an 85, not an 80. Okay, so it's about 15 thou up. Put this one on here. Pack some grease on this.
Now, what's that finger on that washer for?
Keeps it from spinning. See the pin right here?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. Right.
It keeps it from spinning.
That's right.
Because if it spins, it can
Eat it.
it'll eat the whole out of
Yeah,
it real
yeah, yeah.
loose. So that's the theory
That's
behind
stop.
it. Yeah. So when you put these in, you got to make sure that you don't have this titty on the top side, which is here, because it'll hit on the pin. So you got to make sure it's somewhere else.
Damn.
If it's in the wrong spot, it'll fight you.
Mm-hmm. Bless you. I don't know if I remember that part.
Okay, there's low gear. Okay, now we take this low gear one, which we counter shaft one. I mean. This is one I just grabbed out of the pile over there. So it appears to be about a 33. See how they make a 30 and a 35, it's right in the middle. So we go over here to these ones. So we're going to go from a 35 to like a 50.
Bigger. Bigger.
50.
Oh, yeah.
So we took 15 out of both of these. Leave that up so it'll stay put. Okay. So these are the other two we just used. Okay, we already know the shift's fine, so we're going to get rid of this. Less things would be a problem. Now if you try to put this in it like this, all these gears fall out as you try to go in.
Right. You gotta get vertical on. Or horizontal, I
We gotta
mean.
get this assembled. Now this whole thing fell apart here. Gotta make sure all the gears are back where they belong against the cover. Okay, flip that around. Do this.
Would you ever grease those dowel pins?
Nope.
Why not? Not good.
Don't need to. The less grease on that stuff, the better. It gets just more messy as you go in and out every time.
Yeah.
So I try to keep my hands clean.
Right.
If my hands aren't full of grease, my tools aren't full of grease, my workbench isn't full of grease, and I don't have a bunch of dirt, because dirt
Right.
sticks to what?
Grease.
Yeah. So you keep your tools clean, keep your bench clean.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have grease on everything, you don't have dirt on everything. Now right now, even though this bench has been cleaned, dragging it back and forth, we got metal residue from the case going back and forth on that bench. That bench ain't clean anymore. If I run my hand across, there'd be a whole bunch of filing and chips on it.
These case numbers on the front, they're not, oh, they are the same. This one they are.
They should match. Have to look at the number you're looking
Yeah,
at.
they are, yeah.
And,
Looking good, boss.
And they should look like the same font on
Right,
both, too.
yeah. They look like somebody did it last night.
One looks like the stamps are different from one side or the other, there might be some issues. Or if one of the numbers is different than all the other ones, there might be some
You might
issues.
end up down at the pokey. Somebody might end up at the pokey.
That's not a VIN number, that's just an alignment. That just tells you the two case halves are the same. But Harley can put these numbers, some of these numbers in the computers and come up with what you got. Okay, so now the transmission turns freely. Hi, Fred. So now we're checking.
Hey,
Okay,
Navy
so over
man.
here. Look from here.
Oh, let me get over here. What's happening, Fred?
Okay, so I'm pushing my hand over here on this side,
Yeah,
and here's our in play.
that's about right, huh?
Yes, got some looseness to it.
That feels good. Do it.
Okay, now you go over here and you check this one. See how tight that one is?
Yeah, too tight.
It's a little on the tight side.
But it did move just a cunt.
It is runnable, but it is tight. So,
Hey, Fred.
Word for
In my next life, I'm gonna be a Harley mechanic.
so
He's teaching
I'm
me.
gonna take,
appropriate for the word.
yeah, so I'm gonna take 5th out of this one. I'm good with this one. So now go ahead and strip this whole thing down and clean up everything. And we're gonna go ahead and get this main bearing washer ground with my special tool over here.
Where did you just get that tool today?
I just made it while you're out there yakking. on
Yeah,
it.
really?
I-
Yeah, right.
I made it. And you also have
You ought to see him use his fingers, man. He's tough.
Hey, those fingers are good for
He's
doing that.
tough, man.
Okay, so we get this stuff all cleaned up and we'll be back and then we'll do some final assembly.
Okay, shut her down. Okay.